Disclaimer: this list will only be covering the characters' portrayals from Season 1 to 21. No Railway series or Big World Big Adventures or even the All Engines Go reboot. It also won't be counting Nia, Rebecca or Stanley because they're either new additions or just generic background characters after one movie, but if they were on the list they would be in dead last place. So, after the last video I made on my ranking of all the Thomas seasons became a huge success, I was planning on having this next ranking video to be on the films, which might be an hour-long video, but because my computer I'm using is always freezing or crashing during my time editing every video, I'm deciding now to make shorter videos to save its life, and this ranking video will be about the characters from Thomas and Friends. I originally planned to rank every single character not including the international engines, but there's so many characters to rank on the list that would have been a super long video as it would have been me spending so much time working on the video. So today's video will just be covering the STEAM team, and I'll be honest, I wasn't always a fan of the concept of a STEAM team. I think I just preferred Thomas as an ensemble show over a group of main characters, but I don't know. In Season 8 the show introduced a concept known as the STEAM team and it consisted of 8 main characters. Originally, Doc was originally going to be the 8th STEAM team member, but he was cut in favor of Emily. And I'm honestly kind of glad because I never would have thought he'd have the balls to really shine as the main character. I also have plans for another future video ranking my favorite side characters, but in this video I'll be ranking every STEAM team member from worst to best, so without further ado, let's get going. Coming in at 8th and last place I have Emily. Emily has always been a frustrating character in my eyes. She's not a bad character by any means, but she just wasn't really an interesting character until the Brenner era where she became a little more compelling. Now I know I've praised Season 7 Emily before on the channel and even the previous video, but she's honestly kinda bland. She's just a generic nice engine with a good moral compass and that's about it. As for the Hit era, they kind of expanded on her character more, but not in a way where she's like well written or understandable. Her Hit counterpart is nothing short of infuriating. There's minimal episodes where she's nice to other engines, as most of the episodes are about her being a rude, bossy and selfish piece of shit, which is not a bad idea per se, but I wish they didn't overdo it so much. I'm gonna be really hard to talk about her in Seasons 8 to 10 because it really hasn't changed. As for CGI Miller Emily, she's just a dumb NPC who fucks up everything just like Thomas. Yes. No joking. Now the Brenner era Emily is where she shines the most in my opinion. In Season 17, instead of telling off Thomas about his snowplow like she did in the Hit era in a bossy manner, she actually cares about Thomas's well-being and wants to ensure his safety, and even while being quite self-conscious of her snowplow at first, she cleans up Thomas's branch line and takes any inculpable while Thomas is still in the shed, but not in a rude manner. She's perfectly trippy about it and doesn't rub it in. In Season 18 she's a scared child. Season 19 was Emily at her best in my opinion. Best engine ever is probably her best episode. I love the parallel between her and Caitlin. They seem like actual good friends and not just a forced set of characters who only talk to each other when absolutely necessary. I understand why she gets hated by the fanbase because they waited 12 years to make her a compelling character and explore a new side to her. I also really like her portrayal in Season 21, like when she speaks up to an authority figure when something is wrong. I know she isn't the main focus but at least we had that moment. In Emily in the Middle she's portrayed fine in the episode, but the twins just constantly pushing each other on the main line is definitely the worst part of the episode, and I've explained it before in the previous video. So for more information, please click on the video you see on the top right of the screen. Overall, Emily is a character I've never always been invested in. Now let's get into the good characters. Coming in at number 7 is Percy. Percy is kind of hilarious to talk about. This dude is such an innocent being, he gets absolutely violated at every given moment. Like, what did he do? Anyways, I gotta say he had character progression and it's very underappreciated. I know it sounds crazy to say this but he went from a cheeky little scamp, 2. A brave and adventurous engine. In Season 1 he's an ass. He's shared similarity to Thomas in terms of personality. In Season 2 he's being fed up with life and looking for someone to unleash his anger on. He's still quite attached to Thomas in regards to who he is as a character. In Season 3, he really grows into his own. He tells off Mavis when she's trying to share about Toby, and he tries to calm Thomas down when he gets upset. In Season 4 he's there, and in Season 5, holy hell, he's gone through quite a lot, and despite all the anger he's been in, he doesn't hesitate to help out Toby when he's in danger. Season 6 and 7 is where he's really watered down. CGI Percy has had the best and worst moments in the show. Tale of the Brave is easily my favorite Percy portrayals of all time, and we see him become a more brave engine and less of a coward. But then you get episodes like 3 Steam Engines Gruff where Percy just reverts back to being a scared baby, which completely destroys his character development, and Tale of the Brave while resetting his character development, and it sadly becomes a trend in the following episodes he's in after the Brenner era. But we're not talking big world adventures. CGI Percy is an overall fun Percy to watch with his quippiness. What a vibe of a character. Overall, Percy is solid all around. He has some really bad moments that are honestly super hard to watch, but nonetheless a very good character. Coming in at number 6 I have Toby. Toby is such a vibe of a character, while his Railway series counterpart is vastly superior in my opinion. He's still a character I absolutely love as my favorite character, mostly. In Season 1 he's just a character that got introduced with not much to his character. Season 2 is a major step up as he starts to become the mentor figure to Percy and has a neutral stance on the Thomas and Percy rivalry. Season 3 is where he shines the most in my opinion. Him being challenged by Mavis's demeanor is a really interesting character study. The fact that he's opposed to helping Mavis is hilarious to me, and the fact he did it so he wouldn't get in trouble with Sir Topham Hatt is even better. But with that being said, he really started to get watered down in the later seasons. In Season 4 he's just kind of there in his role, and one quote-unquote spotlight episode is the worst of this season by far, and his role in Bullseye's was okay. Season 5 was a drastic improvement with Toby showing some of his cheeky self, and him still being a mentor to Percy all these years later was a really nice touch. Season 6 and 7 he was pretty good, not too much to say. Then we get into the modern era of him where he's just a scared baby, with no unique character traits. Even in the Brenner era, he still hasn't changed. He's in the fucking theme song and he's barely a main, and yet whenever the engines are sleeping in Tidmouth sheds, he's just shot on the siding next to Tidmouth with no shed for him, with nothing really to do with his character, and has no reason to exist. This is the reason why I have him at 6th place, is because while he was my favorite in the classic era, his modern era was just about this coward having no purpose of being here. Coming in at the top 5 is the man himself, Thomas. Thomas is a really hard one to discuss because of how much he really fell off after Season 7. Well, okay, let's first start with the classic era. The classic era counterpart is something I deeply appreciate. Unlike the Railway series, they managed to give him a somewhat coherent arc throughout Seasons 1 to 5 of the TV show, and I guess Season 6 and 7 if you wanna count it. No longer is he the annoying and bratty little shit we saw in the first 2 seasons. He's now a more grown-up and mature tank engine who gives the other engines good advice, while still keeping his cheeky self. Even if Season 5 stopped adapting Railway series books into the TV show, I'm surprised they still managed to continue his character arc than to regress his character. But the hit era is where I really start to lose some brain cells because his character is just very inconsistent. One day he'll be very nice, another day he'll be a complete dick, and then the next day he'll be completely stupid. And then other times he's the voice of reason. I'm starting to sincerely believe his character has the mentality of a teenager, like he's smart but still has a lot to learn. As for the CGI series, he had a strong start in Hero of the Rails where he just a really good person, and not in a way where it makes me roll my eyes or anything. He really wants to help the poor old engine and utilizes the trust he has in his friends to make Hero's dream come true. Then he just fell off like literally after one fucking piece of CGI Thomas media. Now he's just unbelievably stupid in this era. He messes up everything for everyone is every single episode, which it makes Thomas and Friends going from a realistic train show for all ages to a show made for kindergarteners. I also don't like how in almost every movie and episode of the Miller era, the BWBA era, and now the All Engines reboot era, Thomas is just the main character. Now I know he's the star of the show and kids are really obsessed with him, but the show is called Thomas and Friends, not just Thomas the Tank Engine. But continuing on, I really liked how he was portrayed in Blue Mountain Mystery and in the Brenner era. While I don't think it quite tops his season 5 portrayal, I can't deny that it's a major improvement from his Miller era counterpart. But overall, Thomas is just a frustrating character. But the reason why he's in 5th place is because of his character progression in seasons 1 to 7. Coming in 4th place I have James. James is probably my 4th favorite character of the series, until Bubba, but that's a different topic for another time. Anyways, while James is always boastful about his red paint, he's still a hard-working engine and really means well to the other engines. For example, in Thomas in Trouble, after Thomas broke down, James agreed to help bring the children to the concert on time. As for the CGI series, he's mostly portrayed pretty well there, though there are some times where he's really unlikable, like in Tale of the Brave where he's always mean to Percy and now he's too scared to pull the mail train. But overall, James is a pretty consistent character for the most part. Kicking off the top 3 spot I have Edward. It's been really hard to figure out what 2nd and 3rd spots should rank like. There's many times where I'd swap them around, but Edward is just a very simple character to discuss. Despite his character assassination in season 11, he stayed pretty consistent throughout the show's run. I liked his character arc in season 2, which I talked about in the previous video, but the only reason why I put him at number 3 is because he's just not nearly as compelling or special enough as my number 1 favorite character. I don't have much to say other than he's a great character. Coming in 2nd place I have Gordon. Gordon is easily the most compelling character of all time. He can be a very arrogant, pompous and grumpy engine, but you also find yourself rooting for him like Edward or Henry. He's also a good friend to one another. For example, when Gordon pulls little Thomas out of the mine and forming an alliance after they were both in disgrace and down the mine, then actively defending Thomas and hero of the rails, him mentoring Percy on how to pull coaches, him cheering on Edward after realizing he's genuinely trying his best. It's those little moments that make me love Gordon. I don't wanna delve too deeply about him as I could be here forever like I was in my last ranking video, but deep down this guy is a teddy bear and I just know it. But my number 1 is the one and only Henry. Now despite his butchering in seasons 8 to 19, there's no denying on him being the best character in this franchise. He's had some of the best episodes in the entire series. Henry's Forest is where he instantly became one of my favorite characters. Such a masterclass in storytelling. Henry's a character that embodies what people call the dominable human spirit's perseverance on a long-term basis. Think about the amount of times where he's been screwed over with, and every single time he comes back from it stronger than ever. He didn't believe he can do it, but he did it anyway. And all of those moments is why Henry belongs at my number 1. Now before I end this video I wanna give you an update on where the Wondershare film or logo is, and plans for upcoming videos. First let's start off the logo part. As you saw in my previous video and now this video, the Wondershare film or logo that was in almost all of my previous videos is finally gone, and that's because I'm actually used a different editing software called CapCut, and it works much better and faster than Wondershare, which slowed down my computer a lot and I feel like is one of the reasons why I had to take a 6 to 7 month long break from uploading videos between my last commentary video from February of last year, to this video calling out Wooden Railway Productions on Twitter on October of last year. I was originally just gonna use the new editing software for my video shorts, but then I found out that it can also be useful for my YouTube videos. Now I can finally pump out as many videos and video shorts more often without running into those problems. As for upcoming videos, I have a lot of plans for them. You all know I wanna make a ranking video on the Thomas movies as it was mentioned in the beginning of this video. I know I said that wasn't gonna be my next video after the Thomas season ranking video because my computer is too slow and would freeze up, of which that was in my script and was made just for the video, because I was originally gonna use Wondershare Filmora for this video, but then I decided to use CapCut for it. But anyways, I do want my next video to be on my top 5 worst reboots of all time. This video short on that same topic was pretty much a tease for the upcoming video I just mentioned just now. I wanna make my top 10 video on the best Thomas the Tank Engine episodes, another top 10 for the worst Thomas the Tank Engine episodes, and because I'm gonna get up to 1,000 subscribers by probably the end of the year, I do want to make a YTP as a 1,000 subscriber special. I haven't done that in a while, so I thought I was go back to that for the 1,000 subscriber special, so watch out for those video probably coming out in the next few months. I know I didn't upload this video very soon for the 800 subscriber special, and that's because I wanted to take many breaks from it, especially after spending so much of my time working on this last ranking video. I also do plan on making my second channel for gaming videos, because I like to play too many games too much. But anyways, that's all I have to update you guys on. Make sure to comment your favorite character, and your ranking, and maybe even a sentence on why he or she is my favorite character. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Letterboxd, and Serialist even if you have those apps. My original goal is to have Patreon and be active on there, but then I realized that no one is gonna donate to my Patreon, especially if fans are 18 or under. Those will probably don't have much money. So anyways, this is me, signing off.